Good afternoon. Happy Thursday to you all. We're back again live. I think the camera is too close to me. Oh, alrighty. Welcome everyone. I hope you guys are doing great. So today we're going to be talking about a complicated topic with US citizenship, trying to apply for US citizenship. We'll be looking at two very interrelated concepts. They are interrelated but distinct. So we'll be looking at the physical presence rule and the continuous presence requirement as they relate to applying for citizenship. When you join in, please don't forget to drop a comment, and also, of course, don't forget to like and follow our Facebook page and all our social media pages. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the physical presence requirement. So as you know, US citizenship, when you're applying for US citizenship, you need to make sure that you meet the residency requirements. There are a few of them. So the very first one is that you should have at least resided 3 months in the state where the application is being filed from. Okay, so you should have resided there for at least 3 months. That's why when you're filing for US citizenship, where you send your application depends on where you are applying from. Okay, unlike other applications, maybe an I-751 or an adjustment of status or something of the sort. With citizenship, you need to know where you are sending your application to, because you should have resided, where you are filing the application for at least 3 months. Okay, that district. And then let's move on to physical presence requirements. With the physical presence requirements, this is pretty straightforward. It's not as complicated as the continuous presence requirements. With physical presence requirements, it just the Immigration and Nationality Act, the statute, just mandates that you should have been in the US physically for a period of at least half of the statutory period. Okay, so if you are let me read a couple of comments. Prophet Johnny Richard Nelson Nation says, I'm here, welcome. He says, push it. Thank you so much, that made me laugh. Thank you so much for joining. All right, guys, so as we were saying, if you are applying, for US citizenship, you need to make sure that you have been here for at least half of the statutory period based on the basis of your eligibility for US citizenship. So there are two types of eligibility for US citizenship. Either you've been a green card holder for 5 years, or you've been a green card holder for 3 years based on your marriage to a US citizen spouse. Okay, so if you're filing for citizenship, you can file based on the fact that you've been a green card holder for 5 years. That first requirement, that first type of eligibility, does not require marriage. You should have just had your green card for 5 years. If you've had your green card for 5 years, then you're eligible to apply for citizenship. However, there's a second type of eligibility for US citizenship. If you've had your green card for 3 years on the basis of being married to a US citizen, then your statutory period for eligibility would be 3 years. So there's a 5-year statutory period and there's a 3-year statutory period. Okay, so when we talk about physical presence, you should have been here for at least half of your statutory period. So if it's based on a 5-year, or it's based on the fact that you've held your green card for 5 years, then you should have been here for at least 30 months, physically present in the US for at least 30 months, or 913 days, okay, or 2 years, 6 months. You should have been here physically. We should be seeing you here in your house in New York, physically present. Your body shouldn't be in Ghana or Nigeria or whichever country. You should be physically present in the US for at least half of your statutory period. And so if you're filing based on the fact that you are eligible for US citizenship because you are married to a US citizen spouse, your statutory period is 3 years, and so you should have been here for 1 year, 6 months based on the 3-year statutory period. Okay, so basically you should have been here for the physical presence requirements. You should be in the US for at least half of your statutory period. Of course, you are spilling the tea. That's my mug right here. All right, guys, so let's continue. The second aspect we're going to be talking about, the very interrelated concept, is continuous presence requirements. This is a little more complicated. With the continuous presence requirement, it just simply means that do not leave the US for more than 6 months. Okay, no globe-trotting for like a year or 8 months. If you're a green card holder, you are mandated to be here all the time. However, if you have to leave, then you have to make sure that every time you travel outside the country, you're staying out for less than 6 months at a time. Okay, so that's the continuous presence requirement. And the continuous presence requirement requires that you should be here continuously in the US. Okay, so let's talk about what is known, the concept known as breaks in continuous residence. So if you are here for, you have a green card, you're a green card holder, what you've told the US government is that you are a lawful permanent resident and that your main primary residence is the United States. And so you cannot be allowed to leave the United States for more than a year. When you do that, issues of abandonment or relinquishment of your green card come in, and you could be divested. Of course, your green card could be taken away from you because clearly you do not want the green card. So let's talk about the periods of breaks. So if you have breaks in continuous residence, okay, what it means is, number one, you may have been out of the country for less than 6 months. That is not considered as a break in continuous presence. That is just a brief, casual absence from United States. So you can be a green card holder and then you'll go to Ghana for maybe 3 months. That's allowed. That's fine. But if you're a green card holder and you go to Ghana for 7 months, then there's a break, there's a trigger, there is a break in the continuous residence requirements for purposes of naturalization or US citizenship. So we're going to be focusing on application for US citizenship. We're not going to be talking about breaks in continuous residency, or even being out of the country for more than 6 months for purposes of relinquishment of your green cards or of your lawful permanent resident status. Okay, so we are doing this within the context of applying for citizenship. So if you stay out of the US for more than 6 months, but less than 1 year, there is a rebuttable presumption that you have abandoned your green card. And so it's up to you to now rebut that presumption. Okay, so this simply means, in very simple language, that if you are a green card holder and you are outside the US for, let's say, 7 months, then there's the assumption, or the USCIS can assume safely that, well, you have broken your continuous residency requirements for purposes of green card, and so now it's up to you to demonstrate to them that, no, I didn't mean to, break my continuous residency requirements. I actually did maintain a job here in the US. I was paying taxes. I have family. I still have really strong ties here in the US. So, that's the way you try to rebut. Because of course the burden would be on you to establish your residency, because you're a lawful permanent resident. You cannot be out of the country for more than 6 months at a time. Okay, so the second thing is, if you are a green card holder or a lawful permanent resident and you are absent from the United States for more than 1 year, okay, then automatically it means that there's a problem. There has been a break in the continuous presence requirement. So with that one, you cannot rebut it. You simply cannot rebut it. And it means that you are ineligible to apply for citizenship. It means that you don't qualify, because if you are applying based on, being a continuous permanent resident for the last 5 years and you've been away for more than 1 year, then there's a shortage somewhere. So you will not be eligible, okay, for applying for citizenship. Also, let me read a comment that will talk about a distinction between the physical and the continuous, and then we'll continue. Jabo Pajibo says, hey, I will contact you soon. All right, we'll be waiting for you to contact us and we'll be happy to assist you. So when it comes to continuous residency requirements, the law looks at the time of your admission till present. Okay, so they want to see if you've continuously resided from the time of your admission as a green card holder till present, at the time you are in front of the USCIS officer and you're being questioned about your eligibility for citizenship. On the other hand, when we're looking at the physical presence requirement, usually the time of eligibility is from your, the statutory period or the time of your admission up until you file for citizenship. Okay, so to see if you are eligible for citizenship. So right before you file for citizenship, that's when they look at the physical presence requirements. But when it comes to the continuous presence requirements, a practical example is that you cannot apply for citizenship, once your application is in and then you leave for about 8 months. Okay, because with a continuous residency requirement, they are looking at the time of your admission till present, up until you are in front of the USCIS officer, and then you are being questioned about all these things. I'm sorry, I have a really bad cold, so I'm just sniffing all over the place. So, yes, we're keeping it short and sweet. We'll come again. We'll talk some more about this, of course, later. Let me see if I can. Okay. Normally, if you are deemed to have broken your continuous residency requirement, you should try to, of course, reapply. And that means that there's going to be a new statutory period for you. And so if you're trying to reapply, what this means is that for the period of 5 years, okay, for the period of 5 years, if the absence is 1 year, more than 1 year, you can reapply in 2 situations. The first situation, so I hope that's clear. So if you are using the eligibility, you are filing for citizenship based on the fact that you've been a green card holder for 5 years, and then you've been out of the US for more than 1 year, you may reapply in 2 situations. The first situation is that you may reapply after 4 years and 6 months. And then secondly, you may reapply after 4 years and 1 day. However, with under the second condition where you are reapplying for within 4 years and 1 day, you still have to overcome the presumption of breaking continuity of residence. And as I said, that simply means that you're just telling them that, look, I did not break my continuous residency. I still at all times intended to have my primary residence in the US, So I still had a job in the US. I still had my lease. I was paying rent. I had my mortgage. I have family here. I was doing everything as a permanent resident would do. So that is how you you overcome the presumption of breaking continuity. If you are applying for citizenship based on the 3-year statutory period and you've been absent from the US for more than a year, your period of reapplication also comes in 2 ways. The first way is that you may reapply after 2 years and 6 months. With the first one, you don't need to overcome the presumption of breaking continuity. But the second type, where you reapply, of course, maybe you're in a hurry to apply for your citizenship, so you reapply after 2 years and 1 day, then you have to overcome the presumption of the breaking continuity of residence. As I stated again, the break, you have to do it in one of a few ways. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to read my my statute book right here. It's quite huge, so I'm just referring to it. So if you see me turn my head, so the first is that one of the factors you can use is that you don't terminate your employment in the US, and then you have family, you have immediate, there's your mother or your father or your child or your husband in the US. And then the third is that you have to show them that you retained full access to your US home. And the fourth thing is that you have to show them that you did not try to get a job from abroad. Okay, I'm sorry, not from abroad. You did not try to get employment abroad. Scratch the from. You do not try to get employment abroad. Okay, so pretty much that's it. It's just really complicated when it comes to the continuous residency requirements, and people find it difficult to try to calculate trips and what they should do, and trying to recount the period of eligibility and all of that. So that's it. There's of course a form N70, which is an application to preserve your residence for naturalization, that we can talk about later. But today we just really came to look at the very fine distinction between continuous residency requirements, and then the physical presence requirements. Okay, guys, I hope this has been very clear. I've tried to explain. It's very simple. Let me just recap. With physical presence requirements, you should have been here for at least more than half of your statutory period. So if you're filing on the basis of being a 5-year green card holder, then you should have been here for 913 days plus here in the US. You should have been here for more than 2 years, 6 months. 2 years, yes, 2 years, 6 months. That's 2.5 years. If you're applying on the basis of a 3-year statutory period, then you should have been here for more than 1 year, 6 months. If with the continuous presence requirements, don't leave the US for more than 6 months at a time. It always has to be under 6 months. If you leave the US for more than 6 months but less than 1 year, there is a rebuttable presumption that you intended to abandon your residency in the US. Okay, and you have to overcome the presumption, of course, by adducing evidence to overcome that presumption. There's a rebuttable presumption. However, if you leave the US for more than 1 year, then there's a very big break in the continuity of your residency here in the US. And so there is an irrebuttable presumption. And so with that one, you are deemed, that you've broken your continuous presence requirements, and so you need to make sure that you reapply after a certain time, and we discussed all that. All right, friends, so if you need my help, please just call me on 802-7800-564. This is not for you to understand, so don't worry too much if you don't understand it. It's my job to understand it. So just if you have all these type of issues, just come and see me, and then we can work through when you need to apply and what you need to do to overcome whatever presumption, and to, just to sort out all these types of US citizenship issues. All right, people, let me read one more comment that we have. Godwin says, please, madam, I don't know anyone in the US. I wish to come and stay and work. How will that work? You have to qualify in some way. Yes, you may qualify through employment, you may qualify through the visa lottery, you may qualify through being related to a US citizen or a green card holder. Have you tried the visa lottery? That's a good way. Every year, just try to do that. Also, you can have a company in the US try to sponsor you if you have some skills, and they have need of you, of course, in their company, and they can show a few things. I'll try to cover, how to, or you can even, of course, apply through schools. Okay, so those are a few ways. There are, of course, many more ways that will require a whole new video. So all right, people, so let me just leave you. I have to rush for another meeting. I'll see you guys later. So please take care and be safe, and contact me if you need my help. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and bye-bye.